What's up, YouTube? Southern Comic Geek coming to you with a quick haul video. Now, got in some stuff from the eBays, got in some stuff from the YouTubes, and got some new comic book days and some quick takes on that. So if you want to see what I picked up, you gotta stay tuned for the video. Now, before we get into all of this comic book goodness, go ahead and smash that like button and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. So when videos like this drop ever so randomly, you are one of the first people to know and can make the conscious decision as to whether or not to watch it now or later, as long as you watch it. We appreciate you. Talking about people we appreciate, how about the ever-growing list of YouTube channel and Patreon members? These are people that are supporting the channel through their monthly membership. If you see people that you're not familiar with their channel on here, then certainly give them a shout out and a sub/follow. And if you're interested in yourself becoming a member of either or both of these, the links are in the description below. Tell you some of the details, not the least of which are our monthly giveaways. And this month we're giving away one of each of the kinds of channel exclusives, that which was the Power Ninja Tunes with the Hulk 181 homage. So there's one of the regular cover, one of the full cover, one of the gold cover, and they're all 9/8 CBCS slabs. And so that's what we're going to be giving away this month. And guess what? You can take advantage of this coupon with whether or not you are a member, and that is with bcwsupplies.com. Use the coupon code SCG at checkout for those orders of comic book bags, coin holders, card boxes, etc., and save yourself 10% on your order. The link is in the description below for that as well. So we'll start with last week's books, and then we'll get into the stuff I got in the mail. So saw some stuff and some heat on this book right here. Just looking at the name and the kind of climate that we live in, didn't too much particularly thrill me. But this Jenny Frison cover was super fire. So I said, I'm going to have to take a look at it. So I read it since I had it, and it's pretty interesting, the kind of premise that we've got going on. I will tell you this without spoiling it for you, that there's a reason why they say eat the rich. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. But that was a fire cover by Jenny Frison there. Gamma Flight number 3. This, of course, is an homage to, is it American Gothic, I think? But this is kind of the end of the first story arc, setting up the next one. Don't know if I'm going to continue to get it. There's some character development that I'm not too keen on. Al Ewing wrote it, and of course they had that cool homage cover for issue 1, and the reason why I got in on it, and I was like, might just go ahead and jump off of it right now. Then we got Catwoman 34, another Frison cover. Basically, Batman bailed Catwoman out of the fire. The last time we found out also how he ended up knowing what was going on. He shows up just in time, as Batman is apt to do. And she goes and fights the main character. Somebody gets shot, and things blow up. So I'll leave it at that. But it's been an interesting run. Ramvi is doing that, and of course I like the Frison covers if I can get a hold of them. Legends of the Dark Knight number 4, one of the many Batman titles that is going on right now. This is not part of the storyline that the first 3 were with the Riddler. That one kind of wrapped up last time. This one has to do with the Penguin and one of his ancestors. It's a one-shot. Interesting story. But things are going to have to kind of pick up in the Legends of the Dark Knight for me to continue to get that story. As much as I like Batman, there is a space issue, and there is a money issue when you're talking about dishing out all that extra money for the various titles. They got to be good, right? Okay. Then we got Batman's Secret Files, the Clown Hunter, Miko Sion cover. Thought it would be interesting. We haven't heard a lot out of Clown Hunter since Joker War had wrapped up. Thought he was one of the more interesting characters that Tinian had come up with, and this is kind of given a after the fact storyline for him, where he goes at kind of gives you backstory of kind of some of his history a little bit, and then he gets rescued by Red Hood in the end, who offers to train him. Does Red Hood end up being the one that trains him? Because he's a little more Red Hoodish in his philosophy of vengeance and all that. Star Wars, War of the Bounty Hunters. This is issue 16 of Star Wars. And it's been an interesting read. I feel like they're just waxing this storyline a little bit too much. You always want to leave the viewer or the reader, in this case, wanting more, not wishing it was already over with. And I was already picking up the Star Wars titles, so it's not that I'm picking up something that I wasn't planning on to before. The deal is that it's like, okay, well, let's move on to bigger and better stories that bloom out of this, as opposed to just dragging the story over all of these titles just for the sake of dragging the stories. An example of that, this is the War of the Bounty Hunters. This is the main storyline, and all the other ones kind of tie into this. And about half of the story in here was in here already, so I could have kind of done without that. But since I collect the Star Wars run, I'm getting it, but I'm only getting half a story essentially. I mean, they're telling some of the backstory, but it wasn't that big of a backstory that I could have done without it. Got Star Wars High Republic Adventures. This is the IDW series. I've been picking it up because I know they're introducing a lot of characters. I haven't been reading the Adventure series. Well, I did the first 2 or 3 issues. Nothing really bedazzled me. I saw that number 6 was introduction of some character, and it ended up putting on the top list or hot books or whatever. So things I'm going to end up catching up reading on the adventures. But if things don't kind of pick up, I'll probably drop it around a round number like 10, issue 10 or something. I went back and picked up Cable 11. This is not the most recent one. The most recent one had the Old Man Cable and it connected. But when I picked up 11 before, the shop didn't have this cover or something. But ended up picking this one up so I can do the connecting covers. So Noctera number 6. Is this the last issue? I don't know if this is the last issue. Certainly the last issue in this story arc. But things wrap up with our heroes and the betrayal that happened. Look at that reflection cover, Steven Spot. Reflection. But anyways, it was very interesting. Probably the best work that I've read of Scott Snyder's since his work on Batman. I wasn't a very big fan of The Undiscovered Country. I just never could get into it. The mix of the story and him having a world build and the art just didn't do it for me. I'm sure it did it for some people, but it just didn't do it for me. But Noctera, the art's been good, the story's been good, and it's been more like an original story. I know there's probably some connections to some other story out there where these horrible creatures of the night, people turn into it because the sun went out. And no, there's some kind of connections to some horror movie or something, but there's connections with everything. You couldn't just look at it and say, oh, well, this is definitely a steal off of this movie or this book. So it's very original, which is very refreshing to read a mainline, so an Image type title by a main established writer and artists like Tony Daniel and Scott Snyder. I really liked it, so definitely would recommend it if you have not already picked it up. At this point, probably just go ahead and pick up trades. Walking Dead Deluxe, talking about trades, the trades I never get. I say this every time I pick up a Walking Dead Deluxe. I go, oh my goodness. I mean, I like the David Finch covers and everything, but shouldn't I just be getting the trade for this? So he realizes this guy had gotten bit by a zombie, and it wasn't the fact that you get bit by a zombie that turns you into a zombie. It's when you die that you end up turning into a zombie. Whatever was released in the virus or whatever was released in the air, when you die, you end up turning into zombies. We found that out with the guy who is really the father of his wife's child, I think. He went back and found him, and he was digging himself up out of the grave, and so he had never been bitten. So that's how he knew that. So he cut the guy's leg off in an attempt to save him. So that's what they done. Some other stuff went down, and Walking Dead can be kind of risque. It does have a slight edge, which you would expect out of that kind of genre. But it's interesting. You know, it's one of those stories that, hey, don't get attached to the character because they're not going to stay around too long, which is kind of refreshing when you deal with a lot of superhero books where they never die or stay dead. We got Moon Knight #2. I haven't read this one yet. I got some cool McNiven covers. I got the Werewolf by Night 32 Ken Lashley homage cover to Werewolf by Night 32 that Ken Lashley did for Moon Knight #1, but I have not read it yet. So now that I got 2, I'll go back and read #1. So I had dropped the Mighty Morphin title in favor of just keeping the Power Rangers title. I felt like it was a lot more, it's out there in space and a different feel to it than the old 90s cartoon or show did. So I decided to keep this one. This issue was kind of, just felt like a filler issue. I mean, they're setting up this cat creature right here to be the Blue Ranger. I got that, but it's kind of like, yeah, okay. Maybe they needed a 10th issue to fill in a trade paperback or something. Just not a lot went on in that one. Batman Catwoman. This is issue 6. This is the Clay Man, has the Phantasm cover. Some pretty cool covers. I know Jim Lee's done several of these. I did not get in on this series at first because I was like, okay, another Batman title. I kind of soured on Tom King's run. Not that I had anything against it, especially at the front end of it. I just thought that it was one of those stories that went on way too long and didn't produce enough impact. It should have been quite a shorter story. But with this, of course, Batman is dead. Catwoman has killed the Joker. Their daughter is the new heroine, and Dick Grayson is the commissioner. So, I mean, it's interesting. I'm hoping it's fixing to wrap up pretty soon, so I don't have to continue to buy it because it's not that interesting, if that makes sense. Okay, so those were the books that I picked up last week. These are some books that I got. This one right here came off of eBay. If you have not done so already, go ahead and smash that like button. Okay, so this person, hopefully there's the book safe and sound. Any problems, let me know. I gave you positive feedback, and I hope for one from you. Keep an eye on the house for more cool comics. Enjoy mine. Cool. Nice little added touch, especially for an eBay seller. You can kind of tell when an eBay seller either does a lot with comics because they're a little more apt to wrap their books better. And this one looks like it's wrapped pretty tight. Came in a regular manila envelope, but it's got some pretty hard cardboard on the other side. If you've ever had an eBay seller send you something in just a bag with no board, with no cardboard either, you would appreciate this right here. So look at that. Handcrafted in Mississippi, of all places, and it ends up back here, even though they didn't mail it from Mississippi. So that's kind of interesting. All right, so what I picked up was on the cheap TMNT #3. This is the third print. Yeah, third print. So this was one that I did not have. And I don't know, I was just randomly searching, I think, old TMNT books. And, of course, with all the old stuff, that you get that cool wraparound effect. And yeah, so I mean, I have most of the prints of the whole Mirage run. I don't have a first and second print of number 1. I don't have a first print of number 2. I've got a second and third print, but I don't have a first print. That's the one with the Mauser on there, right? And then there's an error version that I do not have. That gets a little pricey, but most of the other ones I have all of the things too. And normally I don't. It was just that it was kind of a part of a completist type deal, and they have different covers, some of them. So yeah, this is the second print. So this is the second print of issue 3. So issue 3 is the first appearance of the Turtle Van. There is an error variant to that one too that I do not have, where the stylized white. So, all right, that was pretty cool. So everything looks pretty much like they had promised it to be as far as the there is. And it looks like somebody at one time had some oily fingers, left a fingerprint there or something. Black covers. But as far as looking about like they had claimed it to be on eBay, it looks to be in order. So I'll be leaving them some positive feedback. This came from Jeff Silversmith, which I have a funny story about that. So Jeff Silversmith is on several different auctions here and there, and I jumped on an auction, and he was doing a pull box or a set of pulls. So like you pulled like 5-6 books, whatever it was, and then if you did that, if he emptied out the box, he was going to do a drawing, put you on the wheel for some other books. I said, well, the books probably are worth it by themselves. Then I get the drawing too, so that's an added bonus. Well, normally, and I do this for anybody that buys from me, I send a message saying, hey, thanks for your purchase. This is how much you owe. And, we work out all the details after that. So a lot of times I don't even think about buying stuff. I buy stuff and then I don't even think about it. I just go about my business. I'm on a random auction somewhere, right? And then so I'm waiting for people to message me back and say, hey, dude, you you owe me money. Okay, no problem. As soon as you tell me, let me know. I will pay you and the accepted form of payment. Well, the deal was that I got to thinking. I said, I bought some books from Jeff Silversmith. And so I messaged him. I said, Jeff, don't I owe you some money? And he said, maybe. And he kind of went LOL. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'm going to have to contact Jeff because he went ahead and mailed my books. So I guess he thought, well, they were all paid. Or he said, well, I know he's good for it. Or I don't know what he was thinking. But anyway, so I've got to pay Jeff for these books. This is Giant Size Werewolf. Number 2. Funny thing is, I got this book out of a mystery box, and so it's found its way back to me again. But so that was pretty cool. Powerman and Iron Fist, number 78. This is an early appearance. Might be the second appearance or the third appearance of Sabretooth. I've already got that one. This is Captain Marvel 57. So this one's pretty cool. Some early Captain Marvel there fighting against Thor. This is a Pat Broderick cover. I met him down at Pensacon earlier this year. So that's pretty cool. So I'm glad to pick that one up. Then he's got here the Amazing Spider-Man 255. First appearance of Black Fox. I'll have to check with my Spidey folks to see if that's one that they got. Same way with these. ASM 254. and ASM 193. So not sure about the values of any of these, but it says 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 books. I think it was like 50. I don't know. So I remember when he pulled them, I was like, yeah, okay, that's a pretty fair deal. And then you get the chance. I didn't win any of the other books, but I did get a chance to. So you got to put some kind of value to that. But when I saw the package was from Jeff Silversmith, I'm like, he mailed me the books already, which is probably why he's like, yeah, maybe. Thinking, oh crap, I got that box without getting paid for it. Oh man. So funny. So this right here is from the next Batman. He was on, I've never met him before. He was on Strictly Comics' auction, one of the many. Strictly has several people that go on his channel that do auctions throughout the week nowadays. But that's where I met him from, or this guy from. And he put up this one book for auction. The box that was leaving none to desire. Oh, okay. So he says, thank you. I threw this in there. Okay, so we'll save that one for later. But I bought 2 slabs from him. So he had one up for auction, which Strictly was bidding on too. I'll give you a hint. It is a book that Starscream 69, who is one of the channel members, appreciates. He said, hey, put that up for your giveaway. For the channel. But this is an homage cover. If I can find the packing clip here. I was going to try to heat some of this bubble wrap versus just destroying it, but I don't know if this tape is going to allow me to do that. But the reason I wanted it was not only for the characters that were in the book, which you might have guessed what they are by now by what I said, but then it was also an homage to another book that I collect. So ended up buying it, and then between the DMs, while he's like, hey, I got these other books, and so we started going back and forth about signed books that he had signed and I had signed, and he's like, oh, okay, that's cool to know somebody else who appreciates signed books, because not everybody likes their books to be drawn on, right? As some people refer to it as. But they not everybody likes it. You know, that's each their own. What's that? Okay.
It's in the bag.
It's in there pretty good.
In my shirt.
Yeah. So I just finally decided, screw it. I'm fixing to destroy this. So much for recycling the bubble tape. So anyway, he showed me some other books that he had up for auction, and I said, so we worked out a price on one of them. So I ended up getting the one that I had already bid on the auction one, and then one on the side, and then he threw this one in here for free for me, which is not a slab, but these other 2 are slabs. And ooh, I'm packing tight, which is good. All right, so there's the one. Okay, so this is the one that I won from him. This is Transformers Darks. Yeah, that's right. He recognized him as the figure that I got up there. So this is Transformers #1, Dark Cybertron. This is a Rob Liefeld cover. Of course, it is he swiped his own work from New Mutants '87. And the Footmaster got it signed right there. So this is a 9.0 copy. This is a CGC, so They witnessed it. Yeah, he's heavy. That's right.
It's long.
Yeah,
It's long.
but I don't even see why this got a 9.0. I mean, I don't even see a single tick on here. Wow. I literally see 0 ticks on here. Why this got a 9.0? I mean, no blunted corners, nothing. Whatever. I don't know. Okay, so this is the one that that we worked out the deal for. This is Batman 442. This is a 9.4 copy, but it is signed by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. Now, George Perez, he's got a few signed. I think he was supposed to have been at MegaCon. I didn't get to go to MegaCon this year, so I don't know if he was really there or ended up being there. But Marv Wolfman, I've seen him, at various. I have not personally seen him, but I've seen him be headlined at various different cons. So he's still making the con scene a little bit. But in light of George Perez not really getting out all that much, I wanted to, get a chance, and it was on a Batman comic. So this is, of course, the first appearance of Tim Drake as Robin, Nightwing and Two-Face appearance, and a Joker cameo. This is 9.4 CBCS slab. And it says witness signature. So this is one they seen, which is an older slab, so it'd have to be, because otherwise it'd be pink. Little color rub right there on that, little blunting corners. There's what really dinged it, was that on the back. So that's probably about right on that one. I still don't know why the 9.0 though on that one. So let's see what I got for free. The F-R-E-E, that spells free. That's always cool to me. See what we got. I see what this is. Okay, this is, I've had a copy of this before too. So this is a, this is thing that Marvel / Sony did for the release of the Venom movie, which was a Venom comic book that was given out at theaters, and which is really interesting because this is what I've been telling Marvel, you need to be doing this with yours. Is if it's nothing but true believers, put a spinner rack out there as a way to get kids to buy the books, when they come out from getting it or taking it in there. Just to get people hooked and kids hooked on reading comics with those characters, because don't forget that's where those characters came from, and you want to continue to make those stories for years to come. So this is what this is. So pretty cool. Thank you. Shout out to the next Batman for throwing that one in there for free. Thanks to Jeff Silversmith for sending me books for free right now. I'll pay him. And then shout out to a good eBay seller. So let me know about the books that I picked up. Tell me what you think. And then, of course, for the new Comic Book Day books, are you reading any of those books? Are we starting to face some Batman fatigue? I don't know that I am, because a lot of the books have been really good. But with some upcoming changes that they're going to be making with Bruce Wayne leaving and all that kind of stuff, I might be fixing too. So, but that's another story for another day. Appreciate you watching. Smash that like button and subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification so you don't miss anything. And until next time, keep reading, keep collecting. Adios.